Many school districts are trying to make up for days that were lost to the polar vortex and February's record-setting snowfall, but not the Robbinsdale School District. As Delane Cleveland explains, they have a new plan in place where students can learn at home during inclement weather.
The winter of 2019 has been one to remember, with Mother Nature packing a 1-2 punch of sub-zero temperatures and record-breaking snowfall, shutting down schools in the process. But in the Robbinsdale School District, they didn't quite let students off the hook when the bitter cold set in.
In the cold days, the polar vortex days, those were the days that districts set up as e-learning days.
Every student at Robbinsdale Middle School has a district-issued computer they can take home. And when the polar vortex kept students away from class, their teachers made sure those days didn't go to waste.
We will be participating in e-learning days on both days,
thanks to the new e-learning program.
We made it clear to the students that this was still a learning day and that it was required to get the work done.
And all that work could be done by going online.
So here we are in a student course.
And completing lessons developed by the teachers.
Now that you've completed your daily practice, let's talk about your next task.
Missy Davies, a French and ESL teacher at Robbinsdale Middle School. She demonstrated how e-learning works.
A student can simply click on the module and look at the teacher directions. As they advance, they simply clicked next through the module to learn.
This is the first year Robbinsdale schools have tried e-learning, and teachers say the early results have been positive.
It's a great way to continue learning without interruption and also to help students develop self-efficacy and autonomy and workplace readiness skills that we really see today.
And from a district standpoint, it means they don't need to add any polar vortex makeup days.
It's been a roller coaster, but it's been a fun roller coaster to be on.
Now, one challenge the district faced with e-learning days is that not all students have internet access at home. In those cases, students were encouraged to access free Wi-Fi at public libraries. So what are other districts doing to make up for snow days? Brooklyn Center Schools reported to school an extra day in February, and they're planning on extending the year by 1 day to end on June 7th instead of June 6th. And the Osseo School District will have a makeup day on March 8th, and they'll have another one on a yet-to-be-determined date in April. So far, the Wayzata School District says they have enough time built into the calendar to make up for the days they've been off. Now, the Minnesota Department of Human Rights is encouraging communities to discuss disparities in education, especially when it comes to suspensions and expulsions. Reporter Meredith Hackler sat down with the superintendent at Brooklyn Center Community Schools to learn what they're doing to address the issue.
Education is vital to a child's future, but for students of color, being suspended from their place of education happens more often to them than their white peers.
When we look at our data and statistics, it shows us that predominantly, far and away, our African American students make up about 45 to 47% of our populations, dependent upon the school within the school district, and yet they account for upwards of 85% of both our classroom referrals as well as our out-of-school suspensions.
The disparity isn't unique to Brooklyn Center schools. According to data from the Minnesota Department of Education, African American students were 8 times more likely to be suspended in Minnesota than their white counterparts.
It doesn't reform behavior, it doesn't change choices, all it does is provide permanent damage.
Knowing the damage suspension and expulsion can cause to students, Brooklyn Center schools started changing their approach to discipline.
There are behaviors that will occur that have to result in an out-of-school suspension, but we've dramatically reduced what those behaviors are, and we work from the standpoint of really trying to bridge with families and to partner as opposed to exclude.
And creating that change has helped decrease the disparity.
In February, when we looked at the data from February of last year, we were down in classroom referrals by 500 and suspensions by 50, 60. It's just changing the philosophy and moving toward a growth mindset to really work on building kids up instead of pushing them out has been the big shift.
The district knows the issue is still prevalent.
We're very transparent about the fact that we have a long way to go. We We have a lot of work to do in order to create an environment that is welcoming for all of our students, students of color, white students of all experiences, and we have to make that a priority.
But they're working to create an environment that is suitable for students of every race and background.
Every single one of our students deserves to be respected as well. We need to see our kids, to see them show up in our space, to allow them to be their authentic self, and then that makes the entire community just that much stronger.
In Brooklyn Center, Meredith Hackler, CCX News.
Now, as soon as all of our snow melts, crews will begin work on a 2-year process to transform Becker Park. Part of that process will include creating a place for people to park and get on bike trails that could take them all across the Twin Cities. The City of Crystal is collaborating with the Three Rivers Park District to create a trailhead that can be an important access point for regional trails.
It's a great going to be a great hub for people to either launch their the bike trail or come back to, because at the end of the day, if the kids still have a lot of energy, there'll be some great amenities there at Becker Park.
Now, the park won't be completed until the year 2020. Now, if you need a refreshing break from all the cold weather, you might want to head to the Maple Grove Government Center for the District 279 Art Show. You can see the show from now through March 28th. One of the art assignments included students creating their own Google Doodle. For more stories from students in our community, you can always check out our website, ccxmedia.org.
The regular season is in the books now in boys basketball. Cooper's had an up-and-down season. The Hawks face St. Louis Park in a Metro West Conference game this week. Jalen Justice lines up a three-pointer and knocks it down for Cooper as they grab a 10-9 lead early in the contest. St. Louis Park goes on a run. They swing it around the perimeter and Jacob Houts buries a three from the corner. The Orioles go in front 30-23. The Hawks respond with a run of their own. Justice gets into the lane and banks the shot for 2 of his 21 points. Cooper leads by 3. St. Louis Park puts the last run of the first half together. Houts knocks down a 3 from the wing. The Orioles go up 39-35 at the half. To the second half, and St. Louis Park in transition. Big Anthony Rayson lays it in as the Orioles go up by 8. And Stanley Jackson glides in for the hoop for St. Louis Park as their lead grows to double digits at 55-44. But Cooper makes a run to get back in it. Jalen Miller attacks on the drive and scores the tough layup as the Hawks get within 1. But Rayson scores 28. St. Louis Park scores a 73-64 win over Cooper. The Hawks open play in the Section 6 3A tournament on Tuesday. Heritage Christian Academy is one of the better small school girls basketball teams in the state. They're hungry for a return visit to the state tournament. It's been a great regular season for the Heritage Christian Academy girls. They're 23-2 and down the stretch posted some big wins, including breaking Maranatha's 117-game MCAA conference winning streak and winning on a buzzer beater on the road against a very good Mountain Iron Buell squad.
Yeah, especially because we didn't have as many people there, so like Mountain Iron had a lot of fans cheering for them, and we were able to keep sticking with them even when their fans were really loud and crazy, and we were able to stay calm and beat them with the buzzer beaters. So that was fun.
Starting with our Maranatha win in the conference championship game, I really felt like our girls really came to battle that night, and although we were down early in the first half, we really did what we needed to do defensively. You know, we played North, beat them by 41, and really played well. Went up to the Iron Range, took 2 games from 2 formidable opponents, and the girls are playing really tough right now and peaking, I think, at the right time.
Heritage broke through to win the Section 4A tournament to qualify for state for the first time ever last season. Having been through those pressure games will help this time around.
I think it'll definitely help knowing we can do it, we've done it before, and knowing how much fun it was, it really motivates us to do it again.
Heritage won't be an underdog this postseason. They're the #1 seed in Section 4, and they've been ranked in the top 10 all season.
Yeah, we definitely have to say, like, we're not there yet. We have to keep on going. Like, now is the time that we have to play our best.
But we try to go into every game with the same mentality that it doesn't matter who you're playing, what day it is, it's still a game. You still got to go out there and do your best.
We'll find out soon if Heritage is ready to make it back-to-back trips to state. The Eagles will be home Tuesday night as they host a Section semifinal game. The Section 4A final is Friday at Anoka Ramsey Community College. Well, the state wrestling tournament wrapped up Saturday night in St. Paul. One local squad hit the mat as Totino Grace faced third seed Waconia in the Class 2A team quarterfinals. Joey Thompson gets Totino Grace on the board. He gets the takedown on the way to a 15-4 major decision over Reese White at 113 pounds. At 126, Bryce Erkenbrack works for a takedown and gets it against Alex Riley of Waconia. Erkenbrack wins 4-2 to pull the Eagles within 10-7. Jakes Field puts on a takedown clinic and then pins Gage Mueller in the 132-pound match to give Totino Grace a brief lead at 13-10. But it's all Waconia from there. Jackson Boberg gets a pin in the 182-pound match to make it 36-16 Wildcats. They beat the Eagles 48-16. Grace lost to Mora in the consolation final. That's all for sports. More news after this.